Hello, and welcome to our webinar Picture Book Party. I'm Maggie Reagan, Books for Youth Senior Editor at Booklist. Before we begin, we'll go over a few technical details. Today's slides and title list were included in the reminder email that you received from Zoom 1 hour ago. To download them, please open that email, scroll to the bottom, and click on the links located there. You can also download them by copying the URLs on this screen into your web browser. If you have any trouble, please contact us at webinars@booklistonline.com. The audience is in listen-only mode, but we welcome any questions you may have. On the bottom of your screen is a toolbar with a section for Q&A. If you have a question or need technical assistance, simply click Q&A and type your message into the box that appears. We will do our best to respond to all tech-related questions, and we will pass along all other questions to today's panelists so they can follow up with you after the webinar. Booklist offers closed captioning on all webinars. To enable or disable captions on your screen, please look for and click the live transcript icon on the toolbar mentioned before. From there, you can select Show or Hide Subtitles from the menu that appears. If you choose to enable subtitles, you can adjust the size of the captions at any time by selecting Subtitle Settings. And finally, Booklist expects all participants to maintain an atmosphere of respect and fairness. Anyone who violates the standard of behavior, including engaging in any form of harassment, may, at the discretion of the organizers, be immediately removed. Today, we have the pleasure of hearing from Emma Davis, Digital Marketing Coordinator at Owlkids Books, Alan Becker, Academic Officer at Teacher Created Materials, Angela Engel, pronouns she, hers, publisher and founder of the Collective Book Studio, Brooke Shannon, pronouns she, hers, publishing assistant at the Collective Book Studio, and Sandra Sutter, owner and publisher of Gnome Road Publishing. First up, we'll hear from Emma Davis. Emma is the digital marketing coordinator for Owlkids Books. When she's not organizing a webinar, writing catalog copy, or designing ads, she's at the park with a good book and a strong cup of coffee. She lives in Toronto, Canada. Thanks so much for being here, Emma.
Thank you so much. My name is Emma Davis, and if you don't know us, Owlkids Books is an independent publisher of award-winning children's books. We're based in Toronto, Canada, like me, and we're distributed in the United States by Publishers Group West. Today, I'm going to be highlighting a couple of our picture books from our fall 2023 season, and I'm going to begin with Cone Dog. This is the canine companion to our spring 2020 book, Cone Cat, written by the Tunnel author Sarah Howden and illustrated by Carmen Muck. This book explores themes of creative problem solving through a hilariously specific obstacle that I think a lot of us are pretty familiar with, the cone of shame. In this adorable sequel, playful pup Emma goes toe-to-toe with a devious device that cuts off her corners, dulls her digging, and makes her the laughingstock of the dog park. But when Emma's human tries to cheer her up with a game of fetch, she discovers that the cone miraculously catches every ball she fumbles. Soon, Emma finds even more hidden benefits to the cone of shame, from serving as a helmet during her hallway hurdles to helping her dig at triple speed. It even plays a pivotal role in her master plan to scare off the sneaky neighborhood squirrel, Keith. Carmen Muck's illustrations are adorable, and the titular cat and dog are both brimming with character. Clever, funny, and super relatable, Cone Dog and Cone Cat are the perfect pair of reads for cat lovers, dog lovers, and perhaps even squirrel lovers. Next up, we have Love is in the Bear by acclaimed musician and children's author Judith Henderson and illustrated by Governor General's Literary Award winner Nahid Kazemi. This is a tender celebration of loyalty, friendship, and song. In this book, spring has arrived, and Bear is finally emerging from his hollow to greet his forest friends. Suddenly, he hears beautiful singing coming from above. It's Bird practicing for the forest opera. Bear decides to try out as well, and as the pair rehearse their song, an unlikely friendship begins. After the auditions, Bird is cast in the opera, but Bear is not. Devastated, Bear returns to his hollow to hide, and Bird comforts him and insists that the pair are still a duet, with or without a stage. Reassured of their close bond, Bear celebrates Bird's success at the opera, getting the best seat in the house and quietly singing along with his friend. This lyrical picture book delivers lessons on compassion and friendship and the ability to bounce back after disappointment, wrapped in Nahid's really stunning illustrations. And it's also a subtle introduction to opera for children and a fresh take on typical hibernation stories. Next, we have 100 Chapatis by Derek Mascarenhas and illustrated by Shantala Robinson. It's a celebration of a popular Indian recipe and a gentle lesson in patience. Simon is worried about all the challenges that a new sibling will bring to his home. And while he waits for his parents to call from the hospital with news of the baby, his papa suggests they make 100 chapatis to pass the time. As the pair measure, mix, knead, flip, and fry, Simon's worries fade. Instead, he's looking forward to teaching the baby how to make chapatis. And before he knows it, the 100th chapati is frying and the phone is ringing. This delightful food-focused story is a treat for the senses, filled with cues for smells, textures, and tastes. It supports social emotional learning themes like self-regulation and features a tender intergenerational relationship. And it's also a really empathetic look at a child's uncertainty about a big change and a great read for kids who have siblings on the way. I also want to add that we have a downloadable recipe sheet for this book using the author's family chapati recipe, which you can find on our website, owlkidsbooks.com. Next up, we have Aaliyah's Secret, A Story of Ramadan by Farida Zaman. This playful, child-centered story will engage kids who celebrate the holiday already and readers who are eager to learn more. So what is Aaliyah's secret exactly? Well, she's going to fast for Ramadan, just like Abba and Ami. They say she's too young, but she is sure she can do it. So Aaliyah goes to school after a big breakfast, determined to fast. She skips her snack, her lunch, even cupcakes, but her mother's syrupy baklava trips her up. At first, Aaliyah is disappointed, but her parents assure her there are other ways to celebrate Ramadan, like performing acts of kindness. Together, Aaliyah and her parents spend the month preparing meals and delivering them to people in need. Aaliyah's Secret is a delightful and original addition to the canon of children's books about holidays. Farida's illustrations are super charming, and Aaliyah's slow journey to moving past disappointment and embracing a new way of celebrating Ramadan demonstrates resilience. Back matter includes an author's note about Farida's own Ramadan celebrations and a glossary. Next up, we have the very hilarious How to Make a Peanut Butter Sandwich in 17 Easy Steps. This is illustrator Bambi Edlin's authorial debut, and it's so funny. In this picture book, readers are on a mission to make the perfect peanut butter sandwich. A 17-step recipe that includes a skateboard, wooden clogs, and an accordion sounds complicated, but with your forest friends by your side, it'll be a breeze. The raccoon earns money to pay for the groceries, the crow and the mice gather the ingredients, the donkey and the beaver work hard on the hands-on, or hoofs and paws on, preparation, and the skunk has an essential role to play as well. Bambi's bold, charming artwork leaves something to discover on every page, and kids will laugh out loud as they puzzle through the many steps necessary to make the favorite sandwich. This book is also a great introduction to procedural writing and will encourage kids to reimagine how to reimagine simple tasks accomplished in creative ways. I also want to add that we have an activity guide for this book as well, available on our website. Next up, we have When Rabbit Was a Lion by critically acclaimed author and illustrator Eugenie Fernandez. You may know Eugenie's other Owlkids books, A Little Miss Lou by Nadia Elhan and Frog Nest by Sarah Nelson. This book feels like a classic with a frog and toad sensibility that highlights themes of social awareness, inclusivity, and empathy. In this book, an introverted rabbit is rushing around to plan the perfect party for his friends. But when the work is over and the party can finally start, Rabbit is overwhelmed by all the activity and noise, and he slips away to find some quiet. When his friends discover him, they decide to switch to gentler activities so that Rabbit can rejoin the party. It's a charming, relatable picture book shout out to introverts. And next we have Jeffrey Loves Blue by Loretta Garbett and illustrated by Lily Snowden Fine. This picture book is about a little boy confronted with a difficult decision and is based on the author's nephew who has autism spectrum disorder. Blue jeans, blue socks, blueberries. Jeffrey loves blue. It's even his favorite color to paint with in art class. But when his classmate asks to borrow the blue, Jeffrey must choose a different color. Gently guided by an unseen narrator, Jeffrey works through his feelings about giving up blue for a classmate and eventually sees his way to a new color, the color of fire trucks and sunsets, red. Thoughtful and uniquely told, this picture book invites readers into Jeffrey's decision-making process with compassion and kindness. It sensitively contextualizes Jeffrey's experiences and touches on elements of autism without stereotypes. It's also been reviewed by experts on autism spectrum disorder, and we're working on a discussion guide for this book with a teacher consultant who works with children with autism spectrum disorder that will be available on our website very soon. Next, we have All the Faces of Me by Laura Allery and illustrated by Selene Pereira. You may know Selene Pereira as the illustrator of another book of ours, Beautiful You, Beautiful Me by Tasha Spillett-Sumner. In this book, a little girl is admiring her Nana's nesting dolls, but something seems off. Their identical, tight-lipped smiles don't seem right. After all, inside every person, there are tons of different faces and feelings. So she decides to give them a new set of expressions without Nana's permission. When Nana sees what the little girl has done, she is furious. But in a really heartwarming demonstration of communication skills and conflict resolution, Nana comes to understand the little girl's motives, and in turn, the little girl comes to understand that she needs to consider the feelings of others. This humorous, vibrantly illustrated story is all about honoring and acknowledging everyone's emotions. Next, we have another book featuring another intergenerational relationship, Eleanor's Moon. This is author and illustrator Maggie Knoss's debut picture book. On the night Eleanor is born, a brilliant harvest moon lights up the sky. While her grandfather holds her in his arms, he says, "No matter where we are, we will always share the moon." Over the years, their love of the moon becomes a key part of their relationship, and together they observe it in all its permutations as it waxes and wanes. And when Eleanor and her family move away from her grandfather, they look up at the moon and are comforted by the fact that they're seeing the same slice of sky. Eleanor's Moon imparts an empathetic lesson in coping with distance, and Maggie's vibrant, rich paintings provide the perfect background for this touching story. We also have a really lovely free poster for this book available on our website. And next we have In the Woods, An Adventure for Your Senses. Originally published in Spanish, this picture book follows a family as they spend a day exploring the woods. First, the family makes a plan. They check the weather, plot a course, and gather supplies. And once the adventure is underway, new surroundings provide surprising smells, sights, and textures. The curious children interject with observations and questions, while illustrations reveal details like what hides beneath the forest floor. There are also some field guide elements and prompts for readers who are going on their own woodland trek. In this vibrant book about outdoor fun, readers are encouraged to activate their senses, explore safely, and respect their local environment in every adventure. Back matter includes a guide for safely planning the perfect day in the woods. And what I think will be my final book is Poppy and Sam and the Hunt for Jam. This is the fourth adventure in the adorably hilarious Poppy and Sam series by Cathan. Sam wakes up from hibernation. Sam is the panda, by the way, with a hankering for rosehip jam. So off he goes in search of the ingredients. All seems well, but on his way home, Sam gets trapped in real bad blizzard, and luckily he's able to find shelter in a bear's cave. Luckily, this adorable bear, whose name is Ursula, such a cute name, does not have a hankering for miniature panda and helps Sam get back to Poppy and the safety of home, where at last they can enjoy some tasty snacks. Cathan's cute and quirky illustrations and signature graphic novel style create a fun playground for early readers to build confidence. This is also a really great read for the oncoming winter and early spring months. So that is all that I wanted to share with you today. And if any of the books that I shared with you today spoke to you, I really encourage you to visit our website, owlkidsbooks.com. We currently have a few discussion guides and activity guides up for the books that I shared with you, but we'll be adding a lot more in the coming weeks. We also have videos, coloring sheets, we have a blog, and they're all available on our resources page. I'd also encourage you to sign up for our weekly e-newsletter. We send out themed book lists, event announcements, giveaways, and more. You can also do that on our website, which is again, owlkidsbooks.com. Thank you so much for listening and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much, Emma, for kicking us off. Our next presenter will be Alan Becker. As an academic officer, Alan provides professional development and training on TCM curriculum and free spirit resources for school districts, teachers, librarians, and educational trainers. He is a passionate educator with 15 years in various roles dedicated to student achievement. Take it away, Alan.
All right, thank you for that introduction. For those of you who may not be familiar with teacher created materials and Free Spirit Publishing, this is our vision statement, which is to create a world in which children love to learn. And I'm sure that you will see that showcased in what I'm going to share with you today. Next. So teacher created materials and Free Spirit Publishing have been creating innovative, imaginative, and award-winning books for over 40 years. And I want to share some of those with you. Next. And first up is Tap and Rap, Move and Groove. Author Connie Bergstein Dow brings movement into homes and early childhood classrooms with rhythmic chants for children to move and to dance to. Designed to link movement, language, and rhythm, the chants are for children and adults to do together, saying the words while performing the movement prompts. Next. Woven throughout Tap and Rap, Move and Groove are many opportunities for children to contribute their own ideas and explore movement possibilities, nurturing creative thinking, problem solving, and self-expression. Dance chants also provide language benefits as children incorporate new vocabulary, recognize rhythm, repeat the sequence of words and movements, and learn how the chants partner with specific movements. Tap and Rap, Move and Groove includes information for adults who want to enhance and expand the dance activities with music, props, varied words, and other movements. Next. Next up is How to Bird. Author Rashah Hamid shows us that birding is a joyful, wonder-filled activity that anyone can do. Featuring the skyline and natural spaces of New York City, How to Bird invites children to explore bird watching, with each page featuring a new birding strategy. A growing body of scientific research and evidence has indicated that seeing and hearing birds makes us happier, and this book shows how everyone, wherever they live, can be a birder. Next. Birding is a fun and accessible practice for coping with stress, practicing mindfulness, and getting outdoors. And How to Bird shares how to get started and empowers children to find joy in bird watching. How to Bird is a culturally relevant, lyrical, succinct, and direct procedural text on birding strategies. Perfect for libraries and classrooms, this book can be a mentor text for educators teaching procedural writing in children through third grade classes. Next. Next up, we have Sometimes When I'm Worried, which is available now. Gentle, supportive, and straightforward, Sometimes When I'm Worried describes a child's experience with worry and the many ways it can surface, as well as how her sister and their two dads develop or help her cope with the feeling. Next. Along with the main character, young children learn ways to cope with worry, which can be a challenging emotion. There's a special section for adults in the back of the book that offers more information on how children of differing ages express worry and anxiety, and how to help children manage these feelings in healthy and empowering ways. Next. Two of the books in this particular 4-book series received starred reviews from Kirkus. Next. And in one of my favorite series, we have Jaden, who returns for a new adventure in Jaden's Secret Ingredient. This story can be read as a standalone or as a sequel to the award-winning Jaden's Impossible Garden, which emphasizes the importance of friendship, community, and the courage and openness to try new things. Next. Jaden loves the outdoors and the garden that he has created with his friend, Mr. Curtis, but he's not so sure about sampling some of the garden's produce. Will he find the courage to try something new? This story is a natural starting point for the exploration of nature, ecology, and gardening, as well as for a nice cooking club. At the back of the book, a section for adults has additional activities and other information to expand on the story and its ideas. Next. Here we have Paula's Patches, and a book that my 5-year-old has read for 7 nights in a row now. But here we have Paula, and oh no, While at school, Paula's pants catch on a bush that rips a large hole in her pants. She tries everything to hide the hole from her classmates, only to find out that they too have leaky lunchboxes, spaghetti stains, and hand-me-down backpacks. Next. Nothing that some colorful patches can't fix. Children will follow Paula as she feels embarrassed about her torn pants, curious about patches, and excited for a possible solution that helps both her and her classmates. Paula's patches can be used as a starting point for discussions about consumerism, throwaway culture, and fast fashion. At the back of the book, a section provides activities for children, including how to make their own patches and what we call no-sew bookmarks and fabric pouches. Next. And here we have I Think a Lot. In I Think a Lot, a young girl notices and wonders about the ways she and her classmates approach doing good work, caring about people's feelings, and showing that they're grateful. She comes to accept herself just as she is and celebrates the differences between herself and her classmates. Next. Inspired by the author Jessica Whipple's own experience with obsessive compulsive disorder, or OCD, I Think a Lot can be a starting point for discussions about overthinking or even obsessive thought, and about the many ways that individuals see and experience the world. The neurodivergent main character allows readers to see themselves and others in the story and emphasizes self-acceptance in the face of comparison. Next. In 3 separate but connected stories, Lulu, Jessie, and Frankie confront the hunger monster, snack food genie, and the food phantom. As they do, kids follow along and learn more about how each of us can take small steps towards greater food justice for everybody. A section at the back of each of these books offers children ways to further explore the story and make a difference in their own communities. The snack food genie tempts Jessie with all that is yummy and oh so craveable, but Jessie begins to make connections between the food that the genie wants him to eat and how that food often makes him feel. As the genie shows up everywhere and to everyone, Jessie decides to fight back. The author, next. Thank you. The author, Eric Tolkien, combines years of experience fighting hunger as a food bank CEO with an MFA in writing for young children to craft a story of how children and adults are affected and influenced by the way food is marketed and sold. Jessie's story also addresses the way food can fuel our bodies and even change our mood. Next. When Frankie and her classmates are asked where their food comes from, it sparks curiosity about her town's food system in Frankie versus the Food Phantom. Next. While walking home, Frankie tells her grandpa about her school project. Frankie says, "We live in a place where you can buy a burger for $1 or pay $2 for one banana. That doesn't add up." Frankie begins to unravel the mystery of how he's affecting her community and how she and her classmates can make a difference. Next. Next, we have Dear Dad, Love Nelson. In Dear Dad, Love Nelson, this is a glimpse into the life, family, struggles, hopes, and questions of Nelson and the more than 5 million other children in the United States who have experienced parental incarceration. Next. Told through letters that he writes his father, Nelson shares his feelings, thoughts, wishes, and even happenings from the celebrations that they've had to the progress that Nelson has made on the car that they were fixing to how excited he is to have Dad coming home. The author, Margaret McBride, has had several family members impacted by the criminal legal system and was inspired to write this warm and inviting story to build awareness of parental incarceration and increase empathy for people who have an incarcerated loved one. A section at the back of this book offers discussion questions for exploring the story and the topic with children, along with more information on guiding children to write letters as a way of staying in touch with an incarcerated loved one. Next, Wiggly Time. So in Wiggly Time uses energetic body and wordplay to channel young children's energy and encourage them to get moving, and then help them transition to quiet time. Toddlers learn best through movement, and little ones need lots of physical activity every single day. Next. Wiggly Time taps into toddlers' inherent love of play and even silliness, and the ideas can be used even for a fun break, at transition times, or anytime. Wiggly Time also includes helpful tips for parents, teachers, and caregivers about making movement fun and part of their everyday routine. Next. 6 new bilingual books are now available in the Toddler Tools series that we have. Daily transitions and routines can be a struggle for any toddler, as well as parents and caregivers. These award-winning positive books can help ease the many challenging times that are a part of every single toddler's day. Next. Each book also includes helpful tips for parents, teachers, and caregivers that they can utilize with their toddler. Next. Here we have 4 new bilingual books in the Learning About Me and You series. These charming board books support toddlers and young preschoolers in developing self-awareness and social awareness, and focuses on early social skills. Next. With her straightforward and encouraging style, author Sherry J. Miners guides little ones to understand how they fit into their world and how other people fit in it as well. Next. Each book includes a section for adults with tips and activities in English and Spanish. Next. I just want to close my time with you today by just saying thank you for taking the time to consider our books. And if you have any questions, please reach out to us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alan. We will now hear from Angela Engel and Brooke Shannon. Angela, she, hers, grew up in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and now calls Oakland, California home. For many years, she worked in sales and marketing for nationally known category leaders in publishing, including Chronicle Books, 10 Speed Press, Cameron & Company, Dwell Studio, and Moleskine. She has sold to key national and international retailers such as Amazon, Costco, Nordstrom, and Target, and became a sought-after expert in the industry. Now, as a founder of the Collective Book Studio, Angela has the opportunity to provide authors the support they need to get a book out into the world from start to finish. Brooke, she, hers, is an editor and writer based in Grand Rapids, Michigan. She specializes in acquisitions, editing, marketing, and publicity. Since starting her publishing career in 2020, Brooke has professionally aided in the production of 20-plus books, ranging from picture books to poetry to cookbooks. She gravitates toward narratives that are unafraid in their telling of human experience. Brooke is a loyal reader of poetry, frequents local coffee shops, and is an ice cream enthusiast. She holds a BA in writing from Grand Valley State University. Thanks so much for being here, Angela and Brooke. The floor is yours.
I have to unmute myself. Hello, everyone. This is actually my first Booklist picture book party, so I'm really excited to be here today. Next, we did not do a script, so I'll say next, Emma. So I'm going to start this off. Thank you for the Maggie, sorry, for the intro. It was great. I'm really excited to be here and launch our picture book by these 2 debut authors, Micah and Joshua Shiva. 1, 2, 3. Nosh with me. It's a great counting book from 1 to 10, introducing Jewish foods such as you can see, bagels, but there's also sufganiyot, the chili style bagels. There's the chomintash and the kugel. It's really fun, and you get to count them with buckwheat, the shepherd doodle. I think that this is a really perfect book to sort of dive into those celebration of holiday foods. Micah is a recipe developer and a dietitian. In the back of the book, which you don't see the spread here, I really encourage you after this to download. All of our books are available with their DRC on Edelweiss. We are distributed by Simon & Schuster, which we didn't see that slide. So that slide, I just want to back up, sorry, and let everyone know that our books are offered by Simon & Schuster, and on Edelweiss you can download the DRC. The last spread is a wonderful recipe card, and if you are curious, just put in the Q&A. Brooke will add her email where Ashley can provide these really cute recipe cards and stickers for your libraries and schools on this book. It's really, really simple. And one other little inside tip I'm going to give you is that this is a Ukrainian artist, and we actually were developing during the Ukrainian war, and we actually took 5 weeks to find our illustrator who was doing it by candlelight and had no electricity. And we said, please, we really want to add this challah recipe. I'm so proud of the team. I'm so proud of the developmental editor, as well as Micah, to making that recipe happen. As a mother who had preschool kids at a Jewish preschool, I really actually appreciate the learning to braid both the regular braid challah as well as the round challah for the holidays, as well as there's really cool sprinkles and topping ideas on the end. Next. Dare to Be Me. This is a debut picture book by Nathan and Casey Bowles, who are singer-songwriters out of Nashville, Tennessee. Casey herself is a kindergarten teacher in Nashville. There are teacher and resource guides being developed, and they will be soon be able to be downloaded on our website, as well as we will put them up on Edelweiss, and again, reach out to Brooke. This is just a really great book for social emotional learning. There are no pronouns. You will see on our list later in the slide, LGBTQ plus subjects are really important to our brand, our publishing house. We have a great relationship with Drag Story Hour, and we're really, really excited about this particular book, because this child, the idea here is, I don't need to stick in. That makes me to fit in. That makes me feel like I will shrink like a small human. And instead, when I'm my true self, when I dare to be me, that is where I feel that I'm not pretending. So the book was really well developed from that song by John Reyes, who came to us through Random House. He was there, and he does a lot of our great picture books now. And I just can't wait for you all to download and read it. Next.
So I am really excited to share a bit about our new board books. So this first one is releasing October 3rd. It's Are You Wiggly? It is the debut book of our author, Tim Button, and it follows a really cute story of a narrator's search to figure out which creature insect is the wiggliest. And so young readers get the opportunity to move and learn about the different movements that these animals make. And the most exciting part about the book is it comes with a novelty mirror in the back, and it's accompanied by amazing, bright, interesting illustrations. And children are able, when they finish the story, to interact with themselves with the mirror. So it's really, really fun. And we're going to transition into the next book, which again follows it's in line with the focus on insects, but we have What a Pest, a creepy crawly counting book, which is coming out October 10. And this is a really fun graphic counting book, which is written and illustrated by one of our authors, Elliot Kreloff, who actually previously authored Once Upon a Line, which is one of our fall 2022 titles. And What a Pest just is all about the creepy, crawly, gross insects that we kind of try and stay away from. It's a wonderfully sturdy board book that's really fun for young readers to learn how to count from 1 to 10. It has simple rhyming text and really brightly colored artwork. And as Angela's showing here, each illustration is embellished with iridescent foil. So this just makes it even more of a perfect interactive addition to a young reader's library. And this title also comes with activity guides that will be posted to our website really soon that are geared toward the target age range. So next.
I get to present this one, which I am ecstatic about. And in the Q&A, Brooke will eventually put her email in for everybody so that you can get these resources. For Elliot's Once Upon a Line, we even have pencils available. So going to I'll Be the Mood, there will be a really extensive teacher resource guide that we are developing and should be ready in the next 2 weeks for that I'm really excited about. This particular book is a love story. It was really important for us to create a book with Philip that was not one of a migrant tale with the border wall that was depressing. Rather, this is teaching kids the will you do this, Brooke? Sorry.
Yep. So this is really just, it's a wonderful migrant story, and it's really just helping our audiences normalize conversation around this experience. Philip was really specific in wanting an illustrator that had, that was from Mexico or had a connection to migrant experience. And so I believe we do have activity guides coming out on this book really, really soon, which we're excited about. And we're even more excited about the Spanish edition that's coming out next year. I'll let you take over, Angela.
Thank you. Sorry about that, everyone. So Sierra La
Yes.
Luna, I've also had it translated in Spanish. The developmental editor, he is a native Spanish speaker. We had a translator actually translate it and then go it back through our developmental editor who worked on I'll Be the Moon in English to really make sure it was poetic, imaginative, dreamlike, and the illustrator lives in Mexico City. She's a design student. But what was also really important to our author, we found an illustrator who has lived the migrant life. There is even like the spread where there's a picture of a border wall. The idea still is that this mom and child are getting reunited with their father. And Philip is already booked in like Berkeley Unified, the library here in Berkeley, many libraries in Texas. So please reach out to us on author events. Philip is fantastic. Okay, next. I'll let you take over, Brooke. Sorry about that, everyone.
Yes. This is Dias for Donut. It's one of our more recent publications that came out June 2nd. But it's really a timeless exploration of a dessert that we all love. And so it covers jelly and rainbow sprinkles to other donuts that are specific to different cultural cuisines. But Rachel, our author, who previously authored B is for Bagel, really uses this opportunity to guide readers through their alphabet. So we have life-size photography from Rebecca Wright and really fun, lively rhyming text. And it's just a fun way for young readers to practice their ABCs. And one of the cool things too is that it comes with 2 kid-friendly recipes for quick and raised donuts in the back. And these recipes were carefully developed and tested from a recipe developer, and it has all the criteria necessary for kids to have a safe experience while interacting with these recipes. Next. And we just wanted to quickly shout out some of our spring 2023 picture books and show some praise. Each of these beautifully illustrated titles are available to download through our Edelweiss website, which we can drop that link in the chat if you're interested. We have Gray Fox, In the Moonlight, starting with the far left. We have I Hope You Will Know, and one of our favorites, No One Owns the Colors, which was chosen by GLAAD for Read Across America with Drag Story Hour. And this story specifically is really just wonderful because it allows children to just exist as they are fully and not feel pressure to conform to any prescribed gender norms or pronoun use. They can just simply enjoy the things of the world like colors and nature and environment as they're supposed to and through their own eyes. So that's one of our most exciting titles that we love. And if you're interested in receiving physical arcs or scheduling author visits, grabbing some of our educational resources and activity guides, please reach out to the email that I dropped in the Q&A chat, and we can get those over to you. Next.
I get to just quickly say we really packed this in, that we'll have a big, robust spring of 2024. You are going to see from us a really beautiful book called Patterns Everywhere, with the museum market in mind, the texture, the feeling. I just want to if anyone has not felt my background in lifestyle publishing, really is attention to detail. So there is embossing, debossing, foil. I mean, I believe that a child and a parent in picture books, they really truly gravitate to those covers. Also, all of our inks we are using are soy-based inks and FSC paper. It is also really important for us as a company to go green, and our team. So you're going to see that all on our list as well here. We have a Jewish book on our list that's taking folk tales and spinning it, so to modernize it and show Jewish faces that are not all the same typical Jewish face. I will say an Ashkenazi Jew in New York, instead really showing the diversity of the Jewish diaspora, and then taking that old Yiddish tale. So really, really fun take on that. Everybody loves a poop book. Elliot Kreloff did Once Upon a Line for us. He's also well known for a book by Hay House called Daddy's is Tuesday. Tuesdays is Daddy's Day. That was just in the New York Times. Look out for his debut poop book. And then finally, Our Home, which takes domestic work and actually makes it joyful, and that it's part of our everyday lives, and it's as important as other parts of our jobs, as really taking care of our home as a family. And we did picture 2 males as the children in that, on purpose, to kind of show that this is something that both males and females can be proud of, or all genders can be proud of. So you'll see actually that in other parts of the illustrations that Maria did, is that we have also made sure that not people in the non-binary space, as you can tell, that is a big part of the list and important to us here when we are publishing children's books. And I think that's it. So thank you so much. And we hope to see many of you who will be at PLA on a kiosk, ALA. Come and say hello and join us. And really, truly, we love your feedback. We love librarians. Lots of fun swag. Join our newsletter. And that's it for me. Yes. Brooke, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Angela and Brooke. And our final panelist today will be Sandra Sutter. Sandra is the owner/publisher at Gnome Road Publishing, aka the Top Gnome. A former attorney, counselor, and author, she has found her way to making great books with great people. She enjoys bringing together talented creatives to produce books that kids of all walks of life can find engaging, informative, and beautiful. The key concept at Gnome Road is rereadability, and Sandra wears many hats at Gnome Road and currently heads their marketing and content development efforts. She's also a mom and chauffeur to 2 curious kids, a crazy cat lady, and a fan of kind people. Bring us home, Sandra.
All right, thank you so much for having me today, and welcome everybody. I'm excited to be part of the Booklist Picture Book Party and share a little information about our books here at Gnome Road. So we'll go ahead and start. For those of you who are not familiar with us, we opened for submissions at the beginning of 2021 and now have released our first list of titles. Those came out last spring. We currently focus on making picture books and look for material that we think has the R factor, which I think you just heard is rereadability. We hope every child can find at least one book at Gnome Road that they treasure and want to read time and again. Our fall list is now in swing with the first of those titles releasing last week. We can't wait to tell you about those, but first, let's get to know our recent spring titles. Nudie Gill, Poison Powerhouse of the Sea, is written and illustrated by Bonnie Kelso. In this book, you meet Gill, a flashy, feisty nudibranch who educates a curious young snorkeler about the fascinating and sometimes fierce lives of these naked ocean creatures and their marine environment. With a vibrant, almost graphic novel style, the illustrations will delight kids as much as the engaging, informative, and funny text. The key concepts here are ocean and marine life, environmental stewardship, and water activities. There's lots of sidebar information. It was reviewed in Booklist's May edition, and this was also selected by the state of Nevada as their Great Reads from Great Places children's book to represent it at the 2023 National Book Festival in Washington, D.C. And actually, Bonnie just came back from the festival representing her state. Next. Animals in Surprising Shades, Poems About Earth's Colorful Creatures was written by Susan Johnston Taylor and illustrated by Annie Baxt. This engaging STEAM-themed poetry collection feels like a field guide to fascinating and colorful creatures throughout the world, while doubling as an introduction to simple and fun poetic forms like concrete, tanka, haiku, and quatrain. This was a recommended review in the January School Library Journal. The key concepts here, of course, are poetry, animals, lots of STEAM-filled information in the sidebars, and then there's also an interactive component to it as well. It was featured on the American Academy of Poets 2023 Summer Books list for young readers. Next. Here we have Science, Matter in the Baseball Park by Catherine Chachi. It's illustrated by Chantel Thorne and Bergen Thorne. For baseball and science fans alike, this fast-paced rhyming story takes a closer look at all the matter that makes up what truly matters at the ballpark and beyond. This features the key concepts of science, the states of matter, baseball, poetry, and rhyme. It was in the May School Library Journal's STEM Books feature and is a diverse bookfinder selection. Next. Finley, A Moose on the Caboose, is written by Candace Spitzeri and illustrated by Chantel Thorne and Bergen Thorne. Friendly Moose Finley longs for an Alaskan adventure, but rules are rules and wild animals aren't allowed on the train. But when things don't go as planned, having a moose on board just might be what everyone needs. Key concepts here: trains, wildlife, Alaska, and a lot of heart and humor. That kids get a lot of giggles out of this one. It received a great review from the Midwest Book Review and is perfect for kids ages 3 to 7 and for libraries, homes, and schools. And then our final book from last spring was Love Will Turn You Around by Mary Munson and illustrated by Kate Talbot. When a heart wakes up feeling all wrong, the other shapes struggle to help him make things right again. A little teamwork, imagination, and love might just be what it takes to turn things around for Hart and all his friends. The key concepts here are shapes. It's great for pre-K through K, primary and secondary colors, and social emotional learning. This was also reviewed by Midwest Book Review, got a great review, and is perfect for kids ages 3 to 7, and great for libraries, homes, and schools. All right, so now that you know more about us and our books, let's dive into the fall 2023 titles. Once again, we have 5 that are releasing this season. These are How to Hatch a Reader, Ode to Joy, My Piano, In a Cave, and Tango Red Riding Hood. So we'll start with the first one, which is How to Hatch a Reader. This is written by Carrie Ann Gonzalez and illustrated by Rachel Suzanne. It's available now, it just came out last week. It's for ages 3 to 7. If you want to teach your chickens to read, find a cozy place to rest their chicken cheeks, then help them peck the right story. Readers don't hatch overnight, but with your help, words and sentences will begin flying off the pages, as long as there are no foxes around. This story celebrates the milestones of learning to read with wit and humor and with tools to support parents of young readers. It has bright, engaging illustrations and a fun second storyline featuring the fox you see on the cover. The key concepts here are obviously reading skills, the chicken's farm life, and humor with the second storyline. And it received a wonderful review from School Library Journal in July, and this is what they had to say. While the story is suited to a read aloud and young children will enjoy the bright, animated farmyard full of chickens learning to read, parents and guardians may find the most delight and support from the practical guidance this book offers about teaching emerging readers. Okay. Next up is Ode to Joy. This is written and illustrated by Anita Crawford Clark. She is a debut author illustrator and in the first cohort of creatives to win the Out of the Margins Award from SEBWI to help her with marketing of this book. It comes out in September. It's on the 5th, right in time for Grandparents' Day, and is for ages 3 to 7. A young girl named Joy struggles to find value in all the old things at her grandmama's house until she discovers the wondrous ways in which being old can bring joy to any heart. The key concepts here are healthy aging perspectives, grandparent relationships, and the African American experience. School Library Journal just reviewed this as well, and this is what they had to say. This book doesn't make a lesson of growing old, but models living well, and readers will look at their own surroundings with new eyes. Verdict: for shelves about grandparents, family, or on aging, this book takes on the joy of growing old for all ages. Next, we have Tango Red Riding Hood. This was written by Rachel Hobbs and illustrated by Carolina Vasquez. Now, Rachel is the daughter of an American father and an Argentine mother, and Carolina is based in Buenos Aires, so we really wanted to bring authenticity to this book. It's a lot of fun, and it comes out on September 12th. It's for ages 3 to 8. When Moni sets off to her abuela's house, her feet can't resist the magical rhythm that calls to her in the woods. But an encounter with a lobo turns Moni's pace from tango to milonga as she races to save her sweet abuela. A fun twist at the end will surprise and delight readers familiar with this fairy tale. The key concepts here are English and Spanish text, modern fairy tale retelling, and the Argentine music, dance, and culture. This was also reviewed by School Library Journal, and they had to say that it was a bright retelling with a real beat. This not only shares the experience of learning a language, but will be a story hour hit. I'd like to note that there is a glossary at the back of this book, but the Spanish words are integrated into the English language text, and the context of the story is used to help make it clear what the words mean for those that are not native Spanish speakers. It also has some great authentic touches that Carolina brought to some of the designs and the patterns in this book. All right, next. My Piano is by Jen Fier-Jasinski. It's illustrated by Anita Bagdi, and it comes out September 19th and is great for ages 4 to 9. Come explore the workings of a grand piano through the eyes of a young musician preparing for a recital. From the pedals pressed down to the ground to the keys that hoist the hammers, it's sure to be a musical treat for all. The key concepts here are music, performing arts, STEAM themes, poetry, and social emotional learning. This has a star next to it because it received a starred review from School Library Journal, and this is what they had to say. Together, Jasinski and Bagdi have created a recital from start to finish that will leave readers wanting an encore. Verdict: a fantastic music read aloud to showcase pianos and performances and maybe inspire some students to prepare for their own recitals. I'd also like to note that this has a cumulative structure to reinforce learning throughout the book, and back matter gives us tips on how to prepare for and perform in recitals, including help on how to work through nervousness and anxiety. Next. The last of our fall titles is In a Cave. It's written by Heather Ferranti Kinzer. I gotta find my notes, I'm sorry. And it is illustrated by Bonnie Kelso. It comes out October 3rd and is for ages 5 to 9. Set out on a wonder-filled underground adventure with 2 young explorers and their trusted guide. Journey past cave formations, meet cave-dwelling creatures, and work up an appetite for cave popcorn in this introduction to one of nature's fascinating subterranean ecosystems. The key concepts here are STEAM elements, the natural sciences and geology, exploration, and environmental stewardship. And rounding out all those reviews from School Library Journal, they also had to say this about In a Cave. An inspiring companion story for lessons about diverse ecosystems. With its unique focus on caves and guided exploration, this hybrid book fuels the imagination with its smooth, poetic rhymes that will intrigue any novice geologist. Note that there is vocabulary in the back matter, as well as an author and illustrator note about cave safety and protection of these ecosystems. And then finally, I'll give you a sneak peek at our upcoming list in spring of 2024. We have Sea Smiles by author illustrator Bonnie Kelso, who did Nudie Gill that you saw earlier. It's a humorous story for kids who've lost a tooth, are about to, or just love learning cool and fascinating facts about animals with weird teeth in the sea. We have The Imposter by Laura Bauer and illustrated by Carissa Green. When all of his missing lovey mysteriously reappears looking a little too clean, a little too fluffy, and a little too new, she knows it's an imposter. She must make room for more than one Mr. Snuggles in her heart, or else rid the imposter from her life for good. Nancy Bess Had a Dress by Claire Nolan and illustrated by Angela C. Hawkins. After the family flour sack is emptied, Nancy Bess remakes it into a dress, only to find new uses for it as her needs change with the passing of the seasons. It also has a lot in there about 1930s U.S. American history. And finally, From the Farm to Our Table by Sarah Rowe and illustrated by Amanda Murrow is based on the author's homesteading lifestyle, and it's sure to be a hit with young, farm-loving, and curious kids as they follow twin siblings across the family farm to gather ingredients to make a shepherd's pie. Thank you all again for listening today. You can follow us on our website, Instagram, X or Twitter, whatever it's called right now, TikTok and Facebook pages. You can contact our distributor, Baker and Taylor Publisher Services, for orders. We also have DRCs on Edelweiss if you'd like to see more there. And if you need free educator, library, and parent resources, including coloring sheets and word searches and extensive guides, we have those materials on our website or teachingbooks.net. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sandra, and a huge thank you to all of today's presenters. Tomorrow, all attendees will receive an email containing links to today's video recording, title list, PowerPoint slides, and the certificate of completion. For more about Booklist webinars, be sure to visit www.booklistonline.com/webinars, where you can view archives of past webinars and register for upcoming ones like those you see here. We have a special announcement introducing Booklist Book Club, a year-long partnership with your favorite publishers. Each month, Booklist will showcase book club picks and supporting materials from a different publisher, offering a wide range of genres and age groups to fit the needs of any book discussion group. Mark your calendars for September, when we'll reveal the first selection from HarperCollins children's books. To find out more information, scan the QR code on this slide or visit our website. Whether your young patrons and students are visiting the library after school or stopping by on the weekends for some new items, grow your collection with Booklist. Subscribe now to get print and digital copies of Booklist, archive access to past issues, and digital access to our new publication, Booklist Reader, for only $99. Visit our website for more details. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar, and one final thank you to our sponsors, Owlkids Books, Teacher-Created Materials, The Collective Book Studio, and Gnome Road Publishing. This concludes today's webinar. See you next time.